Show must go on. I gotta say, I love that line every time from you, Dennis, and all that. Like, I mean, that finale that you had, and Neo Galaxy Cypher Street, like, Dragon. You do not fuck with any of the stuff that Kaito has. Now, I was hearing for this while that this was going to be a badass episode, that this was definitely one to remember from the series, and boy, I can tell you immediately that this episode was just straight up awesome between Kaito and Dennis. I do have mild little nitpicks here and there, but other than that, like that, I absolutely adore this episode. So going on to it, like immediately we got to see that, you know, Yuya's father immediately left on the boat with Alexis, and Dennis was on there, and he was like, "Sup, bitches, here to take the ship, here to take you, here to clean house, let's go." Kaito immediately turns up, going, nah, this is not how it's going down, and all that, and he's like, "Oh, fuck it, perfect, too soon." He says that, like, he's like, "Oh, fine, I'll go against the Jewelers like of you show instead," and I'm like, isn't that what Alexis is? Like, isn't that like... I don't know, just like, the way that she just kind of like had that one moment when she appeared next to Yuzu, and now she's just completely just getting moved off to the side. I don't know, there's just something about it that's like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit upset about that, but regardless of what, you know, like, I was really expecting, you know, her to do a lot, like, in, like, the series and all that, because she was a very hyped up character next to Phoenix as well. Anyway, they have their duel from what we got to see there, and, well, I've got to say, and this is the thing where I've had a lot with, like, you know, the outside episodes where I've been like, okay, I really kind of wish they showed a little bit more cards, or while on Dennis' side and all that, we got to see him immediately bring out his Trapeze Magician. Then after that as well, we was actually seeing the Trapeze Magician go, which was a fusion, which was a level 7, which was a slightly little higher attack points than the actual Trapeze Magician that he has, and this attack was actually, you know, his effect was working well, because, like, I've studied you, there's so much data on you that the Academia has already had on you. This is what we're going to be doing, which is like, it decreases like any monster's attack point by 600 if the Trapeze monster is attacking. So it works really well when you have cards such as, like, you know, the Trapeze Magician that is able to, like, not once, not twice, but it's able to give you multiple attacks and all that. He did that between the Trapeze Magician and the Trapeze Magician Girl, and just immediately it was just like this 3,000 powerhouse, like, dumpster, like, over what it was, and all that was immediately whittled down up until, like, it was around about, like, 600 attack points, and it was just like, and luckily he had Scyther, like, one of the Scyther cards and all that to protect him. I was like, oh, I get 6,000 at the end of the turn, and then also as well, adding into the fact as well that he was able to do this, and then immediately, oh, the monster isn't destroyed, but, you know, he took just so much fucking damage at that point and all that. It was like, Jesus Christ. And, like, even when he tried to attack him, like, you know, with the other Trapeze Magician, he was just able to, like, bring, oh, I'm just going to use, like, you know, immediately in, it's like, I'm just going to use the string one as well when it took over. So it was pretty goddamn impressive on Dennis's part. I mean, there was a few cards here and there, but then as well, it's like, this is something I felt like if it was going to be built up for, like, I would have preferred that this was going to be, like 2 episodes or so, like this would have been, but, you know, like, it's the same thing that, like, Arc 5 is, especially now that we know that it's going on, kind of like, it's got an episode limit, especially now that this all wrapping up. It can definitely tell that they are trying to wrap up this show to end at a certain point, and considering that I think we've got one more opening in the show, I think that's definitely it. As soon as we reach the Academia Island, I think that's pretty much what we're going to be getting, and, like, maybe the last little part of the show that I'll be pushing towards. I feel like that's what's going to be happening, but other than that, you know, like, when he came out and he was like, oh, I'm going to get, like, a little fairy girl out there like that, who's like, you know, it's like, oh, my Sayaka's card and all that, I can bring that, immediately able to use it, like, screw it, no, throw it down like that. Her ability is, you know, discard one card to get level up. Did it, got one of his Cypher cards in the graveyard, which allowed him to add a rank up card, and that immediately, level 9, Neo, like, Galaxy Eye, Cypher Dragon, like that. I was like, oh my god, 4,500 attack points, let's do that, and the rank up card gives it a 500, like, attack point boost, adding into that 5,000, it takes all of the fucking monsters with their effects in the game, not just one. It does that, so you took the Trapeze Girl, and you took the Trapeze Magician, adds into Theron's card as well, just 10,000. And I was like, oh my god, this card is just utterly fucking unstoppable at this point. What can you do? What can you do at this point? You just don't do anything. That's just the clear, simple fact of it. Do not fuck with that card, because you will just get wrecked. And, well, I gotta, like, admit, like, Dennis pulling the fucking, like, thing on, like the side of him and his, like, jewel disc on it and turning himself into a card, that was manly. I'm not gonna lie, it's on that. Although he did tell, like, Shun, you know, like, it's immediately like that, saying, like, look, you know, Kaito, you want to know where your sister's at and all that, you know, want to know where all this is going out, this is where we're gonna go and all that, this is where you gotta go towards. And it was just like, this is exactly what you gotta do, man. They're on these towers, they're on these temples and all that. You gotta go. What is like one of them's at the eastern one is at the northern one. It's like this is where you gotta go. And it was like, okay, dude, I would appreciate this. Like somehow he was like, I threw a card up in the air and it like sliced my card in half, and it was like, oh. Other than that, it was the ending of the episode. I was like, okay, like. Serena's just back. She's just like, oh, I escaped. We got all this shit. And like the one bit when I was like, oh, thank God they found a ship, because that was the whole thing of Yuya and all them reuniting and all that. I thought they would have had a moment between like Yuya and Yusa, but that just kind of like went out the window. And I was immediately like, oh, we couldn't find a boat everywhere as 2 boats were literally behind them. And it's like, oh, but we couldn't get anyone to pilot. I was like, oh, thank God. I was now about to go on a fucking rant. So there's 2 fucking boats there. How dumb are you? Like, I was literally about to do that, and I was like, oh, that, and it's like, no, Serena's found a pirate ship, where it's like, Captain Solo is there. I really hope that isn't the nickname he got for, like, literally raping and pillaging bitches. Arr, it only takes me to rape and pillage, arr, that's why they call me Captain Solo. Like, don't do that, right? Don't. I know it's a children's card game, but there can be hints and pushings onto there, but regardless of what and all that, I thought it was a fun duel. Like I said, a lot of the time, I've kind of gone over the fact that it's like, not every duel has to be it, but especially kind of ones built up to this, I kind of wish, you know, they did it, but then as well, we're on a time screen now, so I kind of understand what they're trying to do. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, like, what exactly you think is going to be happening. But that's all for me, so if you remember to hit that like, that subscribe, all that beautiful stuff down below. But I'll see you guys, though, next time in the next episode of Arc 5.